Hey folks, welcome to Airtime Paintball, where people come to find all the information they need to get good deals on paintball stuff. Today, I've got the CS2 mech frame, and we are going to take a look at this. All I did was open this box and look at it. It's in there. I didn't even take it out of the box yet. We're going to do a real-time installation on this, and then after that, we're going to shoot it and see how it goes. That way, you guys can get an idea of how it goes when you put it together. Let's check it out. All right, CS2 mech frame. Let's just get right to it. If you haven't heard, let me back up a little bit already. I'm starting, right? I always do that. Planet Eclipse has made several great paintball guns that either come as a mech that are very high performance, inexpensive, E-mech, right? And then they have the G-Tech, which has a G-mech frame you can put on it. The 170R has a mech frame that you can put on it, or you can buy it straight up as an M mechanical 170R and just have it be mechanical. But that whole conversion thing is pretty cool because you can have a nice gun, 170 or G-Tech, what have you, and for a pretty small amount of money, you can buy the frame, put it on, and now you have a mech gun, kind of like two guns in one, right? Well, last year at Paintball Extravaganza, Planet Eclipse announced the CS2 mech frame, and like I've said so many times in these videos, right, with global COVID crisis, manufacturing capacities, distribution, parts availability, all those kinds of things have been a struggle for people, and Planet Eclipse is no different, and it has taken a while for these to finally be brought to fruition and come to market. They shipped just a very tiny number of them recently, and I was fortunate enough to get one of these. And I want to give a shout out to Joel Baker at Punisher Paintball for hooking me up with this thing. He only got a couple in stock, and he was nice enough to send me one so that we can review it. So shout out to them. Punisher Paintball, they do a great job of paintball retail. They have a YouTube channel also. Just search on there for Punisher Paintball's YouTube channel. All kinds of great information and reviews, and they're fun guys. Yeah, so check that out. Okay, so here we go. CS2 mech frame. Let's check it out. We have here the frame itself. Comes with a grip back. And let's get the frame out of the box, and then we have this parts kit. I'm noticing there are no instructions in here, so I'm assuming it's going to be pretty simple. So I mean, I've done all these. I've done these on the 170 and the G-Tech. And it was not complicated on either, for sure, and I expect this to be no different. So no manual. Let's get right into it. I'm going to take the barrel off. This is my personal CS2. I might be about to embarrass myself. It doesn't look too dirty, but I actually let my 13-year-old play with this weekend, and I haven't even looked at my gear since then, so it doesn't look too dirty. Let's get the barrel out of the way, and let's see here. So we got some spares, it looks like. We've got a replacement for the rear portion of the grip, because on the CS2, of course, there's the OLED display and the buttons, and we don't need any of that on a mech. So we'll be using this grip. There's no replacement front, so we're reusing that, or the front of the front portion of the rear, and then of course the front grip. In order to swap the frame, we're gonna have to pull that off. So let's remove the core, and we're gonna remove this grip. And when you do that, this is how you get to separate the pieces, right? There's underneath the engine here, there's one screw, and then in the front here, there's a screw. So let's go ahead and take all the grips off while we're at it. Slide the clips forward. These clips right here slide forward, and then we pry these tabs up, and the back just slides off. Very easy. And then the front is a little bit trickier to get off. You sort of have to pull it extra to get it unclasped there, but it comes right off, no problem. So grips off. Now we have the bare frame. So we're going to take a look now, and we need to remove this screw and that screw I pointed out. So let's do that. A little too stiff to spin it. Still can't spin it. Probably a little pain in there, maybe. Oh, that looks pretty good. All right, so we got that. We'll put these grips aside a little bit better. And the front screw. That one's a little freer for me. Get that out. So we'll be pulling this out. Now this model gun, you may be aware, once you do that, these parts simply come apart like so. Done, right? No wires, no connection, and that's for folks who, if you've never seen a CS2 come apart, that's the whole process. And look, you can see, look at that, there's some paint in there. Like I mentioned, it just got used, and I haven't been through it yet, but yeah, so these come apart super easy. This little tab slides into this slot in the front, and then you simply hinge it down and put the screws in, and it's together. But we don't need no stinking electro frame, do we? We're going to put that aside. And we have our new super cool... Oh, you know what? We can't put it aside yet. I forgot. Look what's missing, right? Well, I shouldn't say missing, but we don't have an ASA. Let's get it back. I forgot about that. So we need to remove the ASA because we're going to put it on the mech frame. And this is 2 screws. And as I say this, I realize I've got to jump up because I don't have anything. I don't think I'm going to be able to pull the regulator piston out with my fingers. I don't think you can get in there. So I'm going to grab some needle nose real quick after I get this out. All right. So we've got these 2 out. I'm going to put those aside. And then the ASA pulls out along with the regulator, right? And a little bit of paint in there too. So we get a little cleanup job while we're at it. All right. So we have that apart. And then inside here, well, there's a spring. We'll get that out. Yeah, so you can't, I don't know if you can see that in the video. Let me see if I can get that up there. There's a regulator piston in there. There's. All right, and so you don't want to gouge around in here. This surface on the inside, these O-rings seat against that. Or seal against it, I should say. So you don't want to just be jamming pliers in there and wrestling around and gouging this thing up. You want to treat it with kid gloves. And the same thing with the actual regulator piston. So squeeze them shut a little bit. And I know it's just hard for me to do that in front of the camera so you can see it. But try not to touch the sides best you can. And then grab the piston and give it a little wiggle to pull the seal out. And here we go. And then you get the regulator piston out. And yeah, now we're going to put this aside. All right, so let's wipe this down, and I just forgot to grab my grease. So before we put this in, this is actually a little bit dry, so let's take the opportunity to lube up these O-rings a little bit. Never a bad idea. And this lube, by the way, is good old Dow 33 Light, which is pretty much all you need for any of these markers, with the exception of LVs or Egos that need oil on the rammer and on the bolt. But so we've lubed that up a little bit, and the mech frame here, this has never been assembled, right? So we're going to want to kind of smooth a little bit of lube on the inside. As I mentioned, those O-rings seal against the inside of this. So I'm going to take a little bit, not much, just enough to where I can put it in there, and I'm just going to smooth it around and make sure this surface, being fresh and new, it's never had any grease on it. So let's just grease it up a bit. And here, we're going to wipe off this piston. And same thing, a little bit of grease here. You know, as I do this, I'm thinking I've got some friends, Connor Smith and Tim Schaefer, super technical ninjas when it comes to paintball guns, and I'm wondering how many technical or how many gaffes I'm gonna make where they'll see me do something in this and like, oh no, why are you doing it that way? Hopefully none. So this piston now will go back in to the new frame. I shouldn't say back in. We've never put it in there before, but into the new frame. Okay, and when you put this in, by the way, it's a little bit wiggly, sort of, and loose. And when you just gently push it all the way down, when it gets near the bottom, it'll sort of turn itself flat and seat against the bottom. And then you simply drop the spring in, and then the ASA goes. Let me show you that surface goes around the end of the spring. As long as you go in straight, you can feel it go on there. Or actually, you know what you can do is you can see it like that. Oh, the piston slid out. That's not a problem, but I'm just trying to show you the spring. So hang on a second. Here. The spring sits just like that. So you can hold the spring kind of with your fingers, actually, and then line it up in there, and then just push this together. Little bit of resistance for our first try ever, because like I said, it's never been together before. So I'm kind of surprised it has that much spring tension. Let me make sure I've done that properly. Let me just real quick. This is kind of why I wanted to do it real time, because a lot of people edit videos when they do stuff like this, and they make it, so I really pushed that in there good. They make it seem like every single task is the easiest thing ever. And sometimes when you go to do it, you know, something doesn't quite go as planned. And when I put that ASA in there, I felt like it had a little bit more spring pressure to push the ASA on than I thought it would. So I'm just going to pop it back into my old frame real quick and put it and like kind of reassemble it here. Just to as a sanity check, make sure it goes together that same way, because I haven't disassembled CS2 regs enough times to where I know for a fact exactly how it should feel. And so let's just give this a go. Oops, I put it in crooked. And I've got this together, and guess what? It's exactly the same. It feels the same. So yeah, we're good. So I'm going to take it apart one more time. There it is. And we'll put it together. I'm trying to look in there and make sure. Yeah. Put that in one more time. Put this together one more time. All right. And slide this together. There it goes. And we're going to put these back in. All I'm doing is screwing the ASA on here, just to make sure you can see it well. I admit I haven't done too much video in this style where I've got the camera on the side and you guys can see what I'm doing, and I'm doing my best to make sure that everybody can see it okay. Hopefully I'll do that correctly. Okay, so we've got the ASA on the new mech frame. Very cool. One thing I just realized, there's a gasket that goes here. We're going to grab this out. You can see it right here. We're going to grab that out of the electro frame, and we're going to put it in the new mech frame. These fit in only one way. There's a big hole and a small hole. I just put it in backwards by accident. As I said, it only goes in one way, but it's real obvious to see. There's two holes, a large hole and a small hole, and it's very clear on the seal which one is which. So you just line that up in the right direction and put that on, and that, as they say in the world of planned eclipse, Bob's your uncle. That's together. So let's put it on our frame and see what's up. So we're going to put this back into here. Same way I mentioned, it hinges together. Of course, there's no contacts now. There's just the frame. And it fits right back together exactly the same way. The milling all matches up very nicely. And I remember reading that these frames work on every variant of the CS2, whether it is a private label or like say one of the HK Invaders, or an infamous CS2, or a CS2 Pro, or one of these, which is just like a run-of-the-mill CS2. So here I go with the front grip screw. And by the way, just a word of caution. I've worked on guns for people and guns I've bought where things like the frame screws are tightened as if they are like retaining a seal behind which is a lethal level of radiation or something. Like, you don't have to tighten this with an inch of its life. Just snug it up. T-handles, or even more so, Allen wrenches where you put the short angle in and turn it like this, put a great deal of leverage on fasteners like this. The whole thing's aluminum. You don't want to strip it. You don't want to damage the screws. You can see, look, it's finger tight there, and that is it. That's as tight as it needs to be. It will never come apart, and watch how easy it's come apart. That's it. It's apart, right? If it's harder for you than that, to unscrew your frame or body connection screws, and this is on any gun, then you are tightening it too much. Just kind of a word to the wise. Don't go crazy. Anytime you see people asking questions on Facebook about, hey, my screws are broken, or I busted off this screw, or I can't get this screw out, it's stripped. The reason for that is people over tighten them. So, all right, here it is. Mech frame on a CS2. How cool is that? So now we're going to put the grips back on. Of course, the front grip on these is a simple matter of you just stick it on. Done. And then when we're going to put the rear grip on, you put the front on in the exact same way we did on the other frame. And it has little tabs that fit under the edge of the body here on the top. And then once you get those, oh, I missed one. Once you get those, the back, you sort of press it with your thumb and press it back. And they will sort of snap. Well, you know what? On the mech frame, they don't really snap into place. They just go into place. But you can see that they flatten out for you. And then this piece on the back, we're just going to stick in here. And like I said, I've never done this on this, so I'm assuming it fits the same way. We're going to put it on and squeeze it around the grip. You just squeeze these tabs around. Yep, and it locked right on there. And we're going to move the clips back again. Oh, I was about to say it might be a little stiff because this back portion is brand new, but it wasn't stiff. It went right on. And now look at that. No lights, no buttons, mech action right there. So, pretty cool. Let's get this stuff out of the way. We're going to put the engine back in. And got a tank right here. We're going to test it out and see how it went. But yeah, so you can see, I mean, you can certainly see from the past few minutes, I am no technical, mechanical mastermind. I'm just an enthusiast. I play with a million guns, and you know, I fumble around with stuff when I'm working on it, make some mistakes and whatnot, and that was super easy to install. I would say that on a 1 to 5 difficulty scale, that's like, I don't know, a 2, maybe. Like a 1 would be something like removing a barrel and putting a different barrel on. This would be like a 2, maybe, or a 2.5, because you had to move a gasket, but very simple to put on. So let's grab my tank here and gas it up and see what it feels like. And when we're done with this, assuming that it works, I have a good angle for that. When we're done with that, we're going to cut away, and I'm going to all good, no leaks, not that we would expect any. All we do is change that one gasket, right? But here we are. Oh, that feels nice. So Planet Eclipse, right? They've got these different mechs I told you about. Everybody's always talking about the E-mech because it's very inexpensive and it's super fun to hot rod. And one of the most popular mods to do is called a hair valve, and in fact I have had all the parts for months, and I'm just waiting for stuff to come back from hydro dipping, and I'm going to do another one of these real-time videos, except it's going to be completely from a stocky mech. I've got it right in that red cabinet. I've had it for several months. I have never unboxed it even. We're going to unbox it, and we're going to go through the whole process in a video of completely soup to nuts hot rodding an E-mech. So anyway, I've done it before, and that trigger feel is awesome. And this, I can tell you, stock. Now, I don't have it right here to compare, but this is very similar, if not better, than the E-mech with the hair valve. Now, I'm not saying it's definitely better. Like I said, I don't have it right here to compare for sure. But this is super light and super short where it activates. And another thing that's really cool is the E-mech, if you pull the trigger, and I'm going to try to do it as slowly as I can. See, it just trips. You can pull the trigger slow enough in the E-mech to make it sort of leak and kind of fart and then shoot, and you don't get a good shot. You have to, it's, you know, like a lot of mechs, right, or most, if not all, except for this, you have to kind of make sure that you're definitely giving it a full pull in order to get a proper cycling and reliable cycling. This, I just did it as slow as I could do it. I couldn't make it do that. It just gets to a certain point and then fires. It feels pretty good. So let's take it outside, put some paint through it, and see what our impressions are from there, and we'll come back and wrap up. Pretty cool. Alright, so I don't normally make videos from inside my workshop, but it is pouring rain and kind of cold and crappy and starting to get dark and all those things. So I'm going to shoot this from inside my garage and see if you can just get a look at it. Let's see if I can move a little bit closer. And yeah, so CS2 with the mech frame. The action of this thing, the trigger feel, is just like, I mean, it's so hard to, I can't portray it in the video. I'm trying to let you see, like I'm just breathing on that. No hijinks of twitching my finger. I just pull the trigger and it's fast. And if I do that finger twitchy thing, that's pretty fast. I have to say, when I do that, remember in the earlier when I was making the video, I mentioned I'm not going to go so far as to say that this is better than a hair valve and an EMEC because I don't have it side by side. I can tell you that without question, I'm shooting this faster than I shoot my EMEC, and it's easier to do it. This thing is a winner for sure. If you have a CS2 and you want to try to shoot mech, get one. If you or if you just like money's no object and you just want the best mech that you can buy, I don't know if there's a better one than this. This thing is an absolute ripper. In case you can't tell, I'm pretty impressed. Oh, almost out. You might notice, yeah, that's it. You might notice, go back and watch my EMEC. I forget if it's a shooting video or did I do a review? I don't think I did a review. I definitely put an EMEC shooting video at some point. Then if I didn't and I'm wrong, I'll post it up. But take a look at that, and you can see, even when I shoot it like this, I miss some once in a while with my finger. Now, and I didn't miss a single one with this. And not only that, but as I mentioned, I just took this out of the box and built it like literally minutes ago. You watched the first time I ever shot this gun with paint in it, and that was just now, obviously. I had no practice, no warm-up, no figuring out the right way to do it. I just put it together, gas it up, put a hopper on it, and turn the camera on. And that's how fast it shoots without any practice or like learning the ins and outs or whatever. Amazing. Really amazing. CS2 with a mech frame. So, I mean, how cool is that? Now, one obvious reaction to that might kind of be, yeah, well, of course it's cool. Well, at the time these were new, this was $1,500. They're $1,300 now, but yeah, it's a $1,300 gun with a $200 mech frame on it, making it $1,500. It better be pretty cool. So, I mean, and that's a legit response, right? But it is cool. I mean, it feels great to shoot. I've owned a couple M170Rs. I've built a couple of EMECs that are like soup to nuts, hot rodded, and got the trigger set just like I like it. One for me and one for one of my teammates. And of course, I've got this other one I'm about to build I mentioned for the video. Haven't done it yet, but in any case, done a couple EMECs, done a couple M170Rs with the hair valve even. And like I said, I'm not going to jump right to this is definitely better than that. I'm going to save that for when I have both to directly compare. But for sure, it's at least as good of a feel as all of that. Plus, you get all the benefit of, you know, all the things that are nice about a CS2. I'm not electronics, of course, but, you know, I love CS2 ergos are like beyond reproach. The thing looks awesome. The shot is great, super reliable. All the great stuff that we love about CS2s in this gun, you can get in a mech for this $200 mech frame. Great feel, super fast, really fun. These will be available widely, I think, within maybe a couple of months, maybe a little bit less than that. They're pretty hard to find now. Like I said, I was very fortunate that Joel at Punisher Paintball had one of these to hook me up with it so that we can do the video. And so you might have a little bit of trouble finding them right now, but be patient, because if you've got a CS2 and this is an option for you, I'm telling you right now, do it, because it is cool. It shoots really great, super fun. If you've tried one of these, I would love to hear what you think. There's not a lot of information about these out right now. If you want to even post some information about what it's like to adjust this, like I said, I mean, you were here with me when I unboxed this. I had literally never taken it out of the box until you saw it on the video. So I don't have any other experience with this. I do know that it's adjustable. I don't know the details about adjusting it. So if you have gone into that, post below and let us know how you did it, what was improved or what wasn't improved, what you like about it, all that kind of stuff. And as always, if you guys like what you see, I would really appreciate it if you would like the videos and subscribe. I can't thank all my friends enough for doing that and supporting the videos that I've been making here. It's really satisfying to see people leaving positive comments and how they like the reviews and such. And I'd love to hear from you. So yeah, CS2 mech frame. I see no negatives. Seems pretty awesome to me. Let me know what you think. Thanks for watching.